Welcome back everyone to another training week video, and this week I'm coming back from a niggle. Last time you saw my training, things were going really well. I got up to 9.5 miles for my long run. I was running 4 times a week. Things were feeling good. And it was exactly 3 or 4 days after I finished that video when I did that long run just before my friend Dom came. The week after I went down to pick Philly up from London after her trip to South Africa. I was doing a session on Xana's treadmill. I don't know if this is relevant to the injury, but the treadmill was completely out of whack. I think it was about a minute a mile off what it should be. So I was kind of running at mid 11-minute miling for my kind of easy run. My threshold pace was a good minute per mile slower on that treadmill. And Philly ran on that treadmill for a session as well and found exactly the same thing. So it wasn't just me losing my marbles. Anyway, I did an easy run, fine. I then did a session which was 3 times 10 minutes. 10 minutes is probably the longest I've done kind of sustained effort in this block so far. Immediately after that session, I got a kind of weird achy pain in my left quad. It didn't feel like anything I've ever had. It didn't feel like I had pulled a muscle or my muscles were just really tight. It felt different. And after speaking to Philly, she thought it was kind of neurological pain, nerve pain. I thought it was a stress fracture, which looking back was a bit of a silly self-diagnosis, but I took some time off, obviously, and Philly suggested some neural flossing, which I will show you here, which actually really helped. But I wanted to make sure, and I went and saw a physio. What did the physio say? She checked me over, which is a really good sign when you go to a physio, by the way. If they do your bends, they do your jumps, your squats, the single leg work, if they just look at you move, that is a really good sign they know what they're talking about. If a physio doesn't do that, that's always a red flag for me. The physio found that my kind of lower to mid back was really tight. And that's what she thought was causing this kind of neural pain lower down the chain, basically. That physio appointment was a few days after I had done a couple of days of that neural flossing that Philly gave me, and I wasn't experiencing any pain. But when she worked on my back, when I left and the day after, I got a really bad reaction in my right leg, which I've been told happens, especially when you're working with something that affects so much like your back that it might refer somewhere else. She did give me some exercises which are working, yes, but for that week afterwards, I hardly did any running. And when I did get back to running 10-15 minutes, it felt so weird and alien, as if I was learning to run again, and it didn't feel like everything was moving right. It felt very tight and horrible. That was just over 2 weeks ago now, and I have slowly been coming back, and last week I got back to sessions. I haven't done a long run yet, but I am getting back to sessions. So this week, the plan is to have a long run and a session. We can talk to Coach a little bit more about that in a minute. But that is part 1. That's what the niggle was. But before we get into what we think caused the niggle, I'm gonna go for my run. We're gonna go to the gym, and it will probably be dark in the next clip, because Philly is out filming a video and I'm waiting for her to go to the gym because she needs to do her rehab, and I'll probably do it on the treadmill. I've been running a lot on the treadmill at the moment, but sometimes I think it is just nicer on the body, especially when I'm coming back from a bit of a niggle. I told you guys, it's gonna be dark. So Coach. Yeah. Coming back from a little bit of a niggle. What's the vibe of my training at the moment? What are you giving me?
I feel like we're just kind of freestyling.
Yeah.
At the moment. What did you do last week?
I don't know, actually.
I'm just keying off how you're feeling, to be honest. Like when you come to me and say that you want to run, which I'm kind of putting like the responsibility on you to get your like between 3 and 4 days of running done in the week. We'll work back up to 5, but I'll ask you what you've done for the last few days and how it's felt. And then I'm literally making decisions on the fly, basically, from that. It's all up here.
And the vibe that I'd like to get back to, as I've said that earlier in the video, a long run and a session this week if possible.
Oh yeah, I think that's the goal. Like your long run this week might be an hour.
Yeah.
And then we'll get it back to being a long run.
Yeah.
And the session this week will probably still be in between like a small session and a normal session. Because we just can't take big jumps with you because you're sensitive.
I am sensitive. My body don't like it. My body don't like it.
I'm a sensitive soul, though I seem thick-skinned.
Right, so I'm gonna literally today properly key off Coach. I'm gonna literally run until she finishes her stuff. So that could be half an hour, that could be 40 minutes.
I'm done. I'm finished.
Okay, we can go on.
Let's go.
Also, trying some new shoes. Got some Brooks Glycerin Maxes. See how they feel. It's Tuesday, and positive thing is over the last couple of weeks since this kind of niggle has come up, every time I've run the next day I always get like referral pain or just like pain somewhere else. I'm not feeling too bad. I did my exercises last night, which always helps, I think, and we'll get into what those exercises are later on. I wanted to give a little shout out to the shoes. They're pretty good. They feel very plush. My only issue with them is, I think, because they were the first to try on, I think they were just a bit tight and they were causing, you know, when you get that kind of like friction heat on the bottom of your feet, I feel like that was happening. But anyway, we're here on a session with Philly, just doing some B-roll filming for a YouTube video and some short form. Yeah, this is kind of a usual occurrence. I tend to come to pretty much every session just so I can get as much B-roll, and we tend to build videos around sessions because that's the most interesting thing that we do. And here we're back home. Sport's brutal, man. This has nothing to do with the video. This is just Daniel talking now. Philly had a little bit of a tweak of her glute in the session, literally in her first 800. No, not even a tweak, she didn't feel it. She just started feeling a pain in her glute and she had to cut the workout there. We didn't do it in the end, but it doesn't mean anything. Tomorrow she's going to physio and he might be like, it was just an irritation of the nerve, or it was just something that you can just roll out, take a couple of days off and you'll be back to normal. But it's such a yo-yo experience dealing with injury, and it's weird that it's kind of, you know, I'm kind of dealing with something, going back to the video subject. You get so used to a norm and then suddenly within a second, within one run, everything's changed, or it feels like everything's changed. That could last for 24 hours, that could last for months. But yeah, sport in general and that kind of instant like, oh, injury or niggle or stuff like that is just so unpredictable. So fingers crossed it's nothing crazy and it's just a case of cross training for a few days or running or not running for a few days. But anyway, the show doesn't stop. I'm editing video 1 that Philly's filmed this week, and she's currently filming video 2 that she's filmed this week because we're slightly behind. We were meant to record a video this weekend, which we didn't do just because we ended up just wanting some time. When you next see me, I'm going to talk you through what we think caused this little niggle and then what I'm doing to get rid of it. Good morning. Good morning? It's not morning. It's literally 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I left you yesterday a little bit kind of worried about what's going on. We've been to physio. Philly's been checked out. It's all good. I say all good. It's not perfect. I think she's just very tight and got some irritation in her left hamstring, which combination of things. Running on the indoor track for the last couple of track sessions has probably not been the best thing, in combination with the fact that she's been building up her mileage and she's been prioritizing getting her rehab done over her gym work. So basically, as the knee is getting better, we now need to reprioritize the strength work. And I think it was just weaknesses and stress on the body due to kind of like increase of load. So it was just, yeah, a little bit of an irritation in the hamstring, causing referring pain to the glute. Yeah, back on track. We knew these blips were coming up. You never get used to it, of being like, oh no, what could this be? Let me take you through why we think my niggle came about. This is why we think my back flared up. This is where I sit approximately between 3 and 8 hours a day, depending on what my day looks like. You might think, oh, Daniel, but you have a good quality chair, a Herman Miller. You have a good seating style. You have a nice desk. What's the issue? I'll show you the issue. This is what I'm doing now. This is what I used to do. Just need to get my chair to work. This is how I used to edit. I could be practically lying down. Yeah, that's not good. So, as part of my rehab to improve this injury, I've been told A, to fix that posture, go to the good old 90 degrees when I'm sitting, and also I have access to a standing desk, which I never used to use. Being able to mix up where I work, how I work, standing, that is part of the fix. Now, after my session tomorrow or the day after, I'll take you through my kind of rehab routine and what exercises I've been given and kind of how they're going to help me. But yeah, first, got to do some editing. What am I doing for my session today?
So last week you did 5 by 2 minutes.
Yep.
And how did that feel?
Yeah, felt good.
Any further information? How was fatigue?
The next day was a little bit like back was hurting, and the back kind of hurt initially when I finished it, but then like after doing my exercise the next day, it was fine.
How was like effort?
Effort was fine, easy, almost.
Well, then you should have been running faster.
Well, I just didn't want to push it.
I'm gonna get you to do 5, 3, 3, 2, 2. That's 15 minutes.
Yep.
And last week you did 10 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And I'm probably gonna stop it there just because I feel like if I let you go any faster and put in like 1 minute or 30 seconds on the end, you might like just run a bit faster than like your body is ready to.
Okay.
You coming back from this little niggle. Cool. Alright, bye.
Alright, bye. Back we are at the gym. Gonna be real with you guys. This little niggle, I don't know why, of all the kind of setbacks I've had in kind of running, it's been the most annoying because I had a goal and I wanted to hit it, and it's just kind of disrupted that. That hasn't happened yet. Whenever I've been in my marathon blocks, I've always done like the big chunk of training, and then like, okay, maybe the last month of training has been a bit hit and miss, but by then I've gained a lot of fitness and I feel good. Whereas like this has been so stop-starty, and with just like other life just being crazy at the moment, I just feel like I want to get started, but it's just, it's a bit frustrating because it's not letting me like just build up nice and smoothly. But I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have experienced the same thing, but first time kind of experiencing this kind of like weird throttling where I'm like not being able to just like, you know, always slowly, but just like build to something. So yeah, but anyway, enough complaining, let's get it done. Let's do it. All right, I'm home. That was really good fun. I took on what Philly said as well. I kind of pushed myself a little bit harder and was just like, yeah, last week I was just being really safe. And this week I kind of pushed myself. I did feel my back a little bit in the middle, but it almost kind of wore off. And then last week I definitely felt it in my cool down, which I didn't feel this week. So that is really positive. Just need to keep on my kind of rehab, which tomorrow I'll show you what that is. All right, guys, it is. Oh. What are you doing? Anyway, it is Friday. My body feels good. I think it's the first time after like a session or a heavier day that my body has like not felt like absolute dog shit. So I'm gonna test doing 2 runs back to back. So I did a session yesterday evening and I'm gonna do an easy run now. I'm gonna go out for as long as I can be bothered for. Probably like 40 minutes. We will see. The sun sets in 45 minutes. So I better be quick. It'll be good. All right, let's go. Run, quickly. I don't know where we're going. See you in a bit. Why is he so cute? And there's another one. What are you doing? I've got to try run. Why are you distracting me? God, they're the biggest distractions ever. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Choosing violence, are we? Let's go. Really enjoying the shoes, by the way. Since I had to kind of wear them in for that first run. They feel like wearing clouds. They're so soft and spongy, it's so nice. Really liking them. 4 miles in, running home. All right, people, this will be in a Philly video coming out potentially the same week as this video, but we're filming her warm-up. And I thought this would be a great time to film what exercises I've been doing for this back issue. As I said, the big issue is that my back is causing me pain, which is then referring to my legs. And one of the big fixes, oh my God, the wind is doing beautiful things with my hair. The big fix here is that I need to work on my lower abdominals, okay? The exercises that I've been given, let's start with number 1. And these are very simple exercises because I'm not a professional athlete or a particularly good athlete at all, so I'm starting very basically. So it's just a version of a glute bridge. And basically, individually, like doing glute, single leg stuff, we tested all of this and she said, you're fine. But the big problem is when I come up here, when I'm changing between legs, that's where I'm very weak. It's that lower abdominal stability that I'm not very good at. So what I've been given is just 10 to 12 on each side of just really small shifts, keeping my torso, my hips as still as possible and really engaging that core. And basically this will hopefully improve my stability, improve the strength of this kind of portion here. And therefore when I'm running fast, I won't have to depend so much on my back. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, you know what a dead bug is, I'll show you. A dead bug is this. These are great lower abdominal exercises, okay? But I have an issue. My lower abdominals are so bad that doing even just a normal dead bug, my back lifts off the ground and therefore I'm using my back to help bring up my legs, which is not a good thing. So this is as far as I've been told to go. So I'm not using my arms at all and I'm literally going down here until I hear a click in my hip. And then I'm doing the same on the other side. And that is as far as I'm going for now. Just doing these and really focusing on my back not lifting, engaging that lower abdominals, engaging the lower core, and that's what I'm doing. So that's exercise number 2. And I didn't think about the other exercises because, they need a Swiss ball. But basically, I am, let's see if I can pretend. This is insane. But I've got my legs up on a Swiss ball and I just slowly rock using my lower abdominals. Again, these are very simple. My lower abdominals are so bad that I'm having to do very simple exercises. And then the other exercise on the Swiss ball is I'm just almost bringing my knees in so that I'm kind of working those lower abdominals. So hopefully using all of those exercises, I'll see some progression. But yeah, let's get back to the video. I think it's the long run. All right, it's Sunday. How many miles are you doing?
12 to 14, I think.
Whoa. And I'm doing 7.
Well, you're doing 75 minutes.
Well, I'm doing up
That
to
was the
75 minutes.
assignment.
Up to 75 minutes.
Yeah, so if you
7 miles will take me less.
Yeah, but if you run 4 miles in that time, then you're running 4 minutes, right? I'm just not setting any pressure on you, that's all. I'm just being really nice.
She's been so nice, so nice. All right, let's go for this 75 minute. Yeah, it's gonna be so busy because it's the first dry weekend in Manchester since the year begun. Another week is done. That week felt good. It was good to get back to some sort of normal training. That long run felt good. Felt fun. I like long runs. They are, it feels like a bit of a challenge to get to that far. I say far, it's not that far, but yeah, it's just a nice feeling. I guess the biggest thing here is what does this mean for my marathon? Now, to be completely transparent, there was never a race. It was a few contacts that we had through kind of what we do on Philly's side of things. We had some potential entries into London or Copenhagen, but that then ended up falling on the day of my stag do. Yeah, we had some options basically, but as you can imagine, we have to kind of build our schedules around Philly's schedule quite a lot of the time. So it was just kind of working out what the best thing was. But with those kind of races coming up very soon, I'm not sure that it's a very sensible thing to do. Now, I'm also not against it. So I'm not going to give a definitive answer today, but I'll put it back to you guys. What do you think? Should I ramp my training back up and see if I can get to a start line this spring, or should I put it on pause, build up that consistency, get to a point where I feel like going into marathon block is a safe thing to do, and then doing that maybe either in the autumn or this time next year, depending on what Philly's marathon schedule looks like. Fingers crossed there's an autumn marathon, but we just don't know yet. So right back at you. What do you think I should do? If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.